Hey, my name is Zach Pasquarello. I am a bookkeeping expert. I own my own business, Harrisburg Bookkeeping. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do your own bookkeeping if you are a real estate investor. And the best part is, I'm going to show you how you can do it completely for free using Microsoft Excel. I currently have 49 clients. I do their bookkeeping full time, and I have 15 real estate investor clients. If you need help, feel free to contact me. My email address is zach@harrisburgbookkeeping.com. My phone number is 717-448-5993. I will also put my contact information in the description of this video. Okay, let's not waste any time. If you are a real estate investor, I am about to show you how you can do your bookkeeping completely for free. A couple things I need to mention. First, you want to make sure you have a separate checking account for your real estate investing business. And this works best if you only have one property. As soon as things start to get a little bit more complicated, once you get 2 or more properties, I recommend you should get QuickBooks Online. But in this video, if you only have one property, or maybe if you have 2 or 3 properties, you could still probably do this. I'm going to show you exactly how to do your bookkeeping completely for free. Now it is December 2023, so if you got your rental property in the beginning of the year, you might be worried about taxes, and you need to know how much money you made in rental income, and you also need to know how much money you spent for expenses like utilities, property taxes, repairs and maintenance. That way you can deduct those expenses from your income. Okay, so in this video, we're going to be using Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to show you how you can do your own bookkeeping completely for free using Microsoft Excel. Okay, here we are in Microsoft Excel, and this is a long list of transactions. If you have a separate checking account for your real estate investment, property, or business, you should be able to log into your checking account and export your transactions into an Excel spreadsheet. If you're able to do that, this process will be a lot easier for you. If you're not able to do that, then you're going to need to take your bank statements on a monthly basis and manually import your transactions into Microsoft Excel. It's a long process if you wait until the end of the year, but if you keep up with this on a weekly or monthly basis, it should not be that difficult, especially if you only have one property. It's even not that difficult if you have 2 or 3 properties. So what you need to know is you need to know the date of the transaction, and there should be a memo along with the transaction or the bank detail. And then you obviously need to know how much you spent or how much you received. And then you want to know 2 more pieces of information. You want to know the payee, who did you pay, and then you want to identify the account or the category. Was it rental income? Was it utilities or insurance or repairs and maintenance? That's what we are about to look at right now. So if you log into your checking account and export the transactions into Microsoft Excel, it should automatically give you this information: the date, the memo, and whether it was money spent or money received. If you export the transactions, it might have money spent and money received in one column, and it might just look like positive and negative numbers. That is okay. You can keep it that way, or you can separate it into 2 columns. Now the memo, I have simplified the memo for this example. It might look a little bit more complicated for you, but you should generally be able to figure out from the memo kind of a brief description of the transaction. A lot of times it has the vendor or the payee in the memo of the transaction. So if you have Progressive Insurance, in the memo of this insurance payment, it might say the word Progressive with a bunch of numbers and letters after the word Progressive. For this water bill, I know in Pennsylvania, we have like this Pennsylvania American Water Company. It's a pretty popular water provider, and it might say Pennsylvania American Water in the memo or the bank detail of your transaction. So whatever that looks like for you, the most important thing is that you export your transactions into an Excel spreadsheet, or you manually enter your transactions into an Excel spreadsheet. And now what we can do is we can apply filters to our data. So there's a shortcut you can simply press, if you're on a Windows computer, you can press Control-Shift-L, and that will automatically add filters. But if you don't want to do the shortcut, then it's as simple as clicking on data in the top right here, and then you want to go to filter, and then once you click filter, then we have these filters. Now what we can do is we can go to our deposits here, and we can sort by largest to smallest. So if you're doing this in bulk for a bunch of transactions, this will make it much easier. We can sort by the amount. So here we have all of our money received, and then we can simply change or enter into the account column. We can enter rental income, and this is a very simple spreadsheet. There's no template that you need to download. You can very easily make this spreadsheet. Just add date, payee, memo, payment, deposit, and account to the top. And then if you're doing this in real time, you just manually import the transactions. You add the date, you add the bank detail or the memo, and then you add the amount. You can do this on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Or, like I said in the beginning, you can export your transactions directly from your bank account into an Excel spreadsheet. Now, we have all of these check deposits. So in this example, let's just assume this is all rental income. So we can just type in rental income, and then we can copy that, and we can just paste it down to the point where now all of these are rental income. So this is an entire list of 2023 transactions. So if you're doing this in real time, maybe you only have 1 month, maybe you only have January, that's okay. Or maybe you wait until the end of the year to do all of your bookkeeping. Either way, you want to correctly allocate all of your deposits as rental income. Now let's take a look at our bank detail. Let's take a look at our memo, and we can click this drop down arrow to filter out. Let's look at the word insurance. So for you, maybe you have Progressive insurance. So maybe you search for the word Progressive, but in this example, we are going to search for the word insurance. And this is a simplified example. I understand that, but this is just to show you how you can do your bookkeeping for your rental property in Microsoft Excel. So for this insurance, we filtered out in the memo insurance, and let's just say, I don't know who the insurance provider is. Let's say Progressive. I don't think they do rental properties, but let's just use Progressive as an example. And we'll just say Progressive is the payee, and the account, we'll just call it insurance. We'll keep it simple. And we will just call it insurance, and we'll copy this down. So now the account or the category for all of these transactions is insurance. Now let's look for another thing. Let's look at water bill. So whoever your water provider is, let's look at the water bill. So here we have, let's say PA American Water is the payee. That's the vendor or the payee, the person we're paying or the company we're paying. And then the account is going to be utilities. You can be more specific. You can call it water bill, or you can call it water, but in this example, we're just going to call it utilities. Now let's look for something else. Let's say we have Cash App. Maybe you pay somebody via Cash App. So let's look at our Cash App transactions. And we know that this was a general contractor. You can be more specific. You can specifically identify the particular general contractor, but we are just going to identify this Cash App transaction as a general contractor payment. And then we will categorize this as repairs and maintenance. Now let's look at our checks. So these are all checks that we wrote out of the account. So let's look at check here. And this is going to require you to look at your checks. You need to know who did you pay and generally what did you buy so that you can categorize it. In this example, I know that my $32 check every month is the trash bill. So I will just label the payee as the trash bill, but maybe you could call it whoever your trash provider is, waste management, whatever. And for the account, once again, I'm going to call this utilities. So this is my trash bill, and I'm going to identify my trash bill as utilities. Okay, so now we can go, now that we have the majority of these transactions categorized or allocated towards a specific account, we can click on this drop-down menu and we can filter out the blanks. We can find out what has not been done yet. So here we have registered agent, property taxes, and a couple more checks. So for this property tax, whoever your local government agency is, we can say local government for the payee, and for the account, we can identify that as property taxes. And the list goes on with your checks. Every rental property is different. You might have job supplies or office supplies or software, more general contractor payments, utility payments, insurance, repairs and maintenance. Whatever that looks like for your rental property, you should be able to account for it in Microsoft Excel. Now let me show you what the final product might look like. Here we have Microsoft Excel, and all of the rows and columns are completely filled out. Now the last thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and select all of this data. Here's the final step that you need so that you can file your taxes. We're going to take all of these individual transactions, and I know it might look like a lot of data. It might look really complicated, but it's actually really simple. You just need to know the date, who did you pay, insurance company. The bank detail should automatically be populated when you export your transactions, or you can just copy and paste the bank detail from your bank statement. And then obviously you need to know the amount, and then you just need to generally categorize these transactions as insurance, rental income, utilities, property taxes. The list goes on and on. So the final step, we need to select all of this data, and then we click on Insert up here in the top, and then click Pivot Table. And then this little box pops up. We just click OK. And here we have a pivot table. Let me move my face out of the way real quick. Now, all we need to do is we need to select the account and put it in this rows column. And then we need to select the payment and deposit and put it in the sum of values comma. And here we have our profit and loss statement generated as a pivot table using Microsoft Excel. So here we have contractor labor. So we know we spent $2,505.31 on contract labor. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see this data for yourselves. We have all of our rental income. We have taxes paid, utilities. If you pay yourself as the owner, that can be classified as owner's pay. We have licenses, fees, and permits, legal and accounting services, insurance, and finally, contractor labor. So this is the information you're going to use to file your taxes. You're going to report all of your rental income, and then you'll be able to deduct all of the expenses except for owner's pay. But you will be able to deduct all of these expenses on your taxes whenever you file your taxes for your rental property. This was a quick video. Hopefully this shows you how easy it is to do your own bookkeeping for free, most importantly for free using Microsoft Excel. You just need to understand a few basics on how to apply filters and how to do a pivot table in Microsoft Excel. Once you enter the data or export your transactions from your bank, it's really quite simple. Hopefully this video helped you as a real estate investor. If you have any questions or if you need any help with your bookkeeping or taxes, feel free to reach out to me. Once again, my email address is zach@harrisburgbookkeeping.com, and my phone number is zach@harrisburgbookkeeping.com, and my phone number is 717-448-5993. Feel free to call me or email me if you have any questions about your rental properties when it comes to bookkeeping or taxes.